How you doing? I'm Rebel. Welcome back to 7 Days. Today, we're diving right in. I forgot how much work getting a new base up and running takes. Then, I'm going to try to get another mission done. And if you saw the last video, you'll know we're not prepared for a tier 4 mission yet. However, we'll see what kind of trouble I can get into today. Alright, here we go. Day 26, 10:35 in the morning. Sounds like we got some concrete being made. We need to do some more digging, some more building. I'm scared being here right now because of all the equipment that we got running. I'm afraid a screamer's gonna come. The new model for chickens. How you doing, chicken? Looking good. Playing version 1.2. It's their new version out. There's a new model for chicken, new model for vultures, and they got a couple other bug fixes that they did. All right, we made it to our work in progress new base. Really? Come on, buddy. I'm trying to get some work done here today. Thank you. It's come a long way. Doesn't look too bad, but I do need to get rid of essentially the entire back half of this mountain, because otherwise zombies will just come up from this side and come over here. So all of this is gonna have to be at least dug out, maybe 4 wide, all the way down deep. Gotta start somewhere. You know, this whole scavenging and surviving thing, it reminds me of a camping trip I went on when I was younger. And before I get too deep into the story, I should tell you that this was before the time when every single person on the planet had a cell phone. They were out there, but if you had a cell phone, it meant you were rich, and we were not. This all took place during the end of summer, when it was warm in the afternoon, but the nights got really cold. It was one of those ideas you have when you're too young to know any better, but you're old enough to know that it just sounds like a lot of fun. So my buddies Jay and Joe, we decided that we wanted to go camping. Not at a campground with like amenities or toilets or showers or even a map. We just wanted to go into the wilderness. Completely unprepared and overconfident. I think we were all individually warned by our parents about incoming weather, but we were dead set on spending a night in a tent. Don't know why. No little rainstorm was gonna stop us. None of us really knew what we were doing. We didn't know how to build a fire, pitch a tent, or even cook food over a fire. It was like watching a team of high school basketball players play against the Globetrotters. Just a bunch of dummies filled with unearned confidence and zero know-how. But we didn't let that stop us, so we all piled up into my truck with someone's old used tent, and I think we had a cooler filled with like frozen hot dogs that one of our moms packed for us, which we geniusly left in the truck. And a separate cooler that we packed that was filled with, let's say milk. We drank a lot of milk. But we cranked up a Country Boy Can't Survive and set off. By the time we finally found a place to start hiking, it was already getting pretty dark. The sun was casting that pretty yellow-red tint over everything. So we gathered up our supplies and started walking, hands full of gear. It was probably around 6 or 7 p.m. We were still wandering through the woods looking for a place to set up when we saw this burnt red color through the orange, brown, and green leaves. It was this old abandoned barn, or at least we thought it was abandoned. It was aged red, almost brown colored, just covered in moss. To this day, we still don't know if it was somebody's backyard or something. No clue. I hear you. Hey, Twitchy Tom. Have a nice night. Think I didn't hear you too? When we approached the spot, there was like a small pond about a half a football field away, so we figured let's just set up here. So if you know anything about camping, you know we're already doomed. If you're doing some actual wilderness camping, you need to have your camp set up way before it even starts getting dark. Once it gets dark, it's pitch black out there, you can't see anything. So with our own goals in mind, I headed off to the pond to try to start fishing, to try to get something to eat for everybody. And spoiler alert, I didn't catch anything, which is probably a good thing because at the time I didn't know how to clean or gut a fish to save my life. So for all I know, that pond didn't even have any edible fish in it. So because of how dark it was, we were still within shouting distance, but I couldn't see Jay or Joe or how much progress they were making on the camp. So Joe starts building the tent, which I later found out meaning turning our tent into a tangled mess of fabric and ropes and poles. and Jay starts building the fire, which I later found out meant collecting a bunch of wet twigs and throwing them into a pile on the ground. I think a baby bird could have done a better job at finding us some firewood for a decent campfire. So Jay and Joe were pretty close to each other. They wanted to build the fire in the tent, fairly close, so if it did get cold over the night, the fire could keep us warm. But after about an hour of us all failing at everything, we decided to call it quits on fishing, building a fire, building the tent, and we all just gathered around this fireless campfire. The scene was something like out of a bad comedy. No tent, no fish, no food. Just a bunch of dumb teenagers gathered around in the dark. We were all angry and contemplating just heading back to my truck. With only one flashlight to try and navigate through the dark woods and a storm on its way, we decided we didn't want to admit defeat, and it would be better just to cowboy it out. They sat down on the tent. They didn't want to get their pants all wet, even though our pant legs were already getting soaked because the grass was all wet, so it was, our pant legs were soaking up all the dew. Get off my building, sir. So rather than letting our inexperience ruin our night, we all just kind of sat around. We started BSing and lying about, the girls we were with and acting like we knew the first thing about females. Secret time? We didn't. And we probably still don't. So, with the sun gone, the night air moving in, it started to drizzle. We can handle a drizzle. It's nothing major, not the big storm we were promised. It's just enough of a drizzle to keep us up all night. Then the cats and dogs started coming down. It was one of those rains that's just so heavy, it was blinding. Even with the flashes of lightning illuminating the sky, we couldn't see 5 feet in front of us. So to try and hide from the rain, we run to the decrepit barn for shelter. It didn't help much. The place looked like nature was trying to reclaim its property. The roof was so riddled with holes that no matter where we stood, the rain still found us. The inside of the barn looked like something out of a horror film. There was rusted tools just dangling from the roof, swinging in the wind, hitting each other. There was water dripping everywhere. And tucked away in the back corner of the barn was this massive horse taking shelter. I think the horse found the only dry spot in the whole barn. I'm guessing he used the barn for a shelter previously. Steam kept puffing out of his nose like he owned the place. And for a minute, we thought we were encroaching on his turf. At first, he didn't seem to want to share the barn. He kept snorting and stomping his feet at us. But after a few minutes, I think he found out that we didn't mean it any harm and he decided to let us stay. But still trying to make the best of a bad situation, the 3 of us raided the cooler we packed, which only had some milk that probably made us dangerously dehydrated. We were freezing, wet, cold, drinking ice cold milk for what felt like forever. And then we realized that if we don't come up with a game plan, the night's gonna get a whole lot worse. After what felt like forever, I think we gained up enough of the trust of the horse to give us some of his real estate. We got close enough to pet it, which was cool. So Joe volunteered to weather the storm and take our only flashlight back to the truck. Try to get us some supplies. I don't know if me and Jay guilted Joe into volunteering because he's the one who really wanted to go, but it took us about a half an hour to get there, so I figured through the storm it'd take even longer to get back. I still don't know if Joe was being brave or stupid. He said he was going to drive to the nearest gas station, bring back some dry firewood, matches, lighter fluid to help get a fire going, plus the cooler of frozen hot dogs we left behind in the truck. Me and Jay honestly thought he was just going to bail and leave us there. But after we agreed that we needed some form of supplies, Joe threw an oversized garbage bag over his head, and off he went. The light from our only flashlight seemed to disappear almost instantly. While Joe was away trying to be a hero, me and Jay dug a small hole with our bare hands for the fire, if he ever comes back, to try to keep it dry. We were basically just scooping mud out of a hole. After the pit was dug, we decided to try to put the tent up in the rain. Miraculously, we managed to get it up pretty quickly, but not quick enough to stay even remotely dry. It felt like we waited there for hours. The storm's thunder and lightning was getting louder and louder. It seemed like it had no signs of slowing down whatsoever. It was even shaking the ground. You can feel it rattling in our chests. The suspicion of being absolutely defeated was overpowering us. We thought things couldn't get too much worse. And I don't know if it was the cold, the defeated headspace that we were in, or maybe it was just the milk we were drinking. But all of a sudden, staring out in the blinding rain, a large shadow begins to creep closer. All we can really see at this point is a silhouette of something big and black. Its outline shifted as the rain bounced off its skin. All we could hear was the sound of rain slapping against the ground and twigs snapping under this thing's feet. But our panic quickly subsided when we realized it was Joe. We thought he had abandoned us. garbage bag was draped over the firewood to make him look like a giant monster hunting for food. Once Joe finally made it close, we helped him out. Jay grabbed the cooler filled with hot dogs. I grabbed a gallon of gasoline that we thought was supposed to be just a small bottle of lighter fluid to help get the fire going. And Joe carried the firewood and the matches back to our camp. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dry firewood, matches, gasoline, rest of the night's great, right? Keep listening, it gets better. So with our new supplies, we decided we would get to work right away on building the fire. Every single time we lit a match, the rain, I swear, had some sort of new, never-before-seen, heat-seeking technology to snuff out our match. Not letting that deter us, being the geniuses that we were, Joe decided to dump the entire gallon of gasoline over the firewood. A gallon over the firewood. And as you can guess, it turned out the pit that we dug was nowhere near deep enough. When he poured the gasoline over the fire, it seeped into the grass, soaked up into our pant legs. So when we struck that first match, boom. Literal pants on fire. Literally. The three of us running around in circles, yelling, screaming. I don't know who yelled it, but one of us shouted the pond. And as soon as we heard the pond, we all just bolted for it. So there we were, standing in the rain, ankle deep in a pond, trying to extinguish ourselves. Luckily, nobody got physically hurt. So with our pants burned into shorts, we climbed into the old used tent, which of course had holes in the roof, basically turning the tent into a giant water balloon. We used some long sticks to half-cook some frozen hot dogs over a roasting gasoline fire. The hot dogs were barely warm. They were probably still raw, but we were just starving. No buns, no relish, no ketchup. Just soggy hot dogs on a stick. So by morning time, we were all soaked and exhausted, but the rain had stopped and the sun was shining. The grass had that smoky mist floating over it, giving it that Silent Hill look. We didn't even bother packing up. We just grabbed our coolers and left. I hiked almost silently all the way back to my truck, dripping wet and covered in mud. It was one of the dumbest, most chaotic nights of my childhood, but honestly, it was one of my favorite memories of me and my dumb friends just hanging out. And it goes to show that sometimes the worst plans make great stories. And if you're an owner of an old rundown barn in the middle of a forest, you can keep the mystery tent. All right, we almost got the entire pit dug out all around our base. Got a lot of work to do still on it. Let's head over to Rekt, get a mission set up. Maybe we can get like a restore power mission done for the night. See how well I timed this. I know you're closing soon, Rekt.
Everything's for sale, even to an idiot like you.
Thanks, Rekt. Restore the power. There we go.
Come to think of it, I do have. What are you standing there for? Don't you have work to do?
Yeah, and it's a mile away, Rekt. Thanks a lot. Let's get over to this mission. Restore the power. It's one of my favorite missions to do. Alright, here we are. Lumberjack's Mill. Jack's Lumber Mill. Alright, let's start it up. I want to get on top. Yeah, that's where I want to be. I want to be up there. Did you fall? There you go. Good job, Lumberjack. Yep. Construction worker, how you doing, sir? Janitor, or bub, as some of my friends call him. See if we can get this started. Come on. There's one. Come on. I hear you. Construction worker. And another construction worker. How you guys doing? Come on over. That it? That's too easy. There we go. Saw some loot. Come on. Thank you, appreciate the goodie bag. Where'd you come from, sir? Damn bird. Get. Didn't even hear him. Out of nowhere. RKO from the top rope. Come on, zombies. Come on. All right. That doesn't make any sense, but all right. Come on. Had about enough of this. Sir, just stay down. There you go. Thank you. All right, let's get out of here, start this other generator up. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jerk. We already got the loot, so all we gotta do is restore the power. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nope, he's running. Got it. Now we just gotta clear the area. Come on, boys. Come on, Paul Bunyan. Let's do this. I'll let you out. You over here? Sir. Thank you. All right, mission complete. Well, because it's day 28 and our new base is nowhere near complete, we're gonna have to wait until next horde night to use it. I'm gonna have to go back and make sure that our current makeshift horde base is functional. Make sure all the concrete's upgraded. Make sure the stairs are healthy.
I'll sell you goods, but if you cross me, you'll meet the wrong end of my 44.
Not looking too good here. Crafting skill magazine bundle is what I'm gonna go with. Got 2,000 dukes out of that one.
Guarantee, huh?
Will you shut up, Rekt?
Maybe you should try Shamway.
No, thank you. Let's open this up. Forge ahead books are way useful. We can make a chem station. Start production of fuel. I think we got 2 skill points for you guys to decide how I spend them. And we're almost approaching 3. Yeah, we got some repairs to do still. Next episode, we're going to focus on repairing our old horde base because day 28 is going to be a horde night. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We got that tier 3 restore the power mission done for Trader Rekt and made some good progress digging out the moat around the base. I even shared a little camping story while we worked. There's still so much left to tackle with this base, but we're getting there step by step. You know the rest of the deal. Like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, all the other stuff that YouTube wants you to do. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace, I'm out of here.